Every transformation starts with a moment when you realize the way things have been can't be the way that they stay. Rob is a father, a husband, and someone who works a full-time demanding job, just like most of the men we work with. When he first came to us, he had already lost a little bit of weight, but knew deep down that he couldn't keep doing it alone. He was tired of the yo-yoing and the back and forth and feeling like at any moment all of his progress could be wiped away. Fast forward to today, he's down over 100 pounds. Yes, I said 100 pounds. He's stronger, more confident, and showing up for his family in a way he never thought possible. This interview isn't just about weight loss. It's about what happens when you show up even when things get hard. So if you're serious about losing weight and getting in the best shape of your life as much as you say you are, then stick around through the entire interview so you can learn how Rob did it. Let's dive into the interview. Give a little bit of background, obviously, like your name, who you are, where you're calling in from as well, and then maybe just a little bit more about like what you do for work as well, because you're very passionate about that side of things.
Yeah. Yeah, so my name's Robert, although on the team you guys call me Rob and that sounds good. I'm a high school music teacher, band director, and I'm in Southern California. San Bernardino area is where I grew up. I teach in Yucaipa and I live in Highland, so kind of the San Bernardino area, if anybody's familiar with that area. But yeah, I've been at the Yucaipa High School for a little over 15 or 16 years now at this school. So I'm actually calling in from my classroom, from a little like a break room part of my classroom.
Yeah, nice, man. Nice. And just like how long have you been in the program with us? I know I mean, it's been a long time. Do you remember exactly when you had started?
Yeah, it was right after Thanksgiving of 2022. So it's
Yep.
been
Spot on.
it's an easy one for me to remember.
Yes.
Yeah, so about 2.5 years now, which is
Yeah.
cool.
We're coming up on 3 years, man. It's really cool to actually have this conversation with you because I'm definitely not talking to the same Rob as I was way back when. Like it's an entirely different Rob that I see today. Not only from like a
Mm.
physical, obviously, but like mentally as well. We've come a very long way, and it has not been like a straight shot to getting there.
Mm.
So yeah, it's definitely really cool. Even a little like I don't even know if weird is the right word for me to say as well, to even have that opportunity to be able to see such a change over that time frame. Because 3 years, I mean, like 2.5 years in the grand scheme of life really isn't that long, and you've kind of seen really big shifts in that time.
Right. Yeah, no, it's crazy how 2.5 years is a little but a lot at the same time. And even depending on kind of like where in life, like right now I'm 45, I'm going to be 46 in next month, at the end of next month. And so even, I don't know, like 42 is when I started. To
Yeah,
me, like 42 to 45, they feel different. Like early 40s as opposed to mid 40s
yeah,
feels like different life stages. And so just to be with you guys during that whole
yeah,
stretch.
definitely. If you don't mind, I actually have some pictures up in front of us of just kind of progress,
Mhm.
and if it's cool with you, I want to share those.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'd love for you to just kind of take us back to this photo here on the left, if you don't mind, and just give us some insights onto like kind of where we're
Yeah,
in this photo, like before obviously starting the program. This was our first progress photo in the app.
right.
Where was Rob at in this situation, physically and mentally?
So it's crazy. But that was after I lost 30 pounds on my own. Which to me is like the first thing that stands out. I mean, the difference, it's crazy. I get, memories on my phone and stuff like that. And sometimes my wife will even send me like pictures and be like, wow, look what popped up on my phone.
Yeah,
And but I was still kind of in that, you know, obesity column two category according to my weight graph and stuff like that. But the fact that I had already lost 30 pounds, I had been a member of my gym for about almost 6 months, and I had seen some good progress. And the more progress I was making on my own, the more I was kind of seeing some people on social media, and that's how I found your posts and stuff. Is that like as I would watch one, others would come up and stuff.
yeah,
And I just found myself seeing like kind of feeling like I was encouraged to go further. I was encouraged by the progress, but I also in my mind there was this kind of hesitancy of kind of like I'm not going to know what to do. I remember I mentioned this on the very first time you and I talked. I knew that at some point I wasn't going to know what to do when things like slowed down.
yeah,
And so that's kind of where I was in this, like that's the guy that's in this picture right now
yeah,
is already kind of having some success on my own, which is cool, just kind of by eating less and like actually moving and exercising a little bit and getting a little bit of advice here and there, but being afraid of what's going to happen when if I get injured, what's going to happen when the progress slows down and I don't know what to do, what's going to happen if I fall off the wagon. There was a lot of stuff going on in my mind
Yeah.
of I like that I can do this, I like that I'm making progress, but
Yeah.
what like what about the long run? And
Yeah.
so your stuff that I found, and then when you reached out, that's kind of where I was at. I was ready for something that would help secure that this became long term.
Yeah, which is really awesome for you to do. And I definitely commend you for that. I know you're happy you did it now, but back then to be in a position where you're already seeing some success and then to still be outwardly like, how do I make sure that this is a like guarantee that I'm going to actually keep this off long term? 'Cause like you said, you dropped 30 pounds. It's a really solid spot. But it's more of that like almost pinch me, like when's this going to be over? And you don't want it to be over, but like you don't have
Yep.
certainty around, is it going to keep happening? Do you
Mhm.
remember like or recall where we were at weight wise in this left photo towards the beginning or not quite?
I think I was somewhere around 260, um,
Yeah.
255, 260, something like that. And I'm right around like 5'11" and a half to 6 feet
Okay.
tall.
Yeah.
And
And
so
what
yeah,
would you
that was
say?
about 260. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna ask, like, we talk a lot about this on the group calls and just in general in our conversations, like our why, right? What is our why behind doing the things we do? What, like, can you break that down a little bit more for me too? Like, why did you start this journey? Like, you can talk about a little bit of when you started on your own, and then even why you wanted to take that next leap of faith almost to trust, obviously, us in
Mhm.
helping you go further. Like, do you remember what that was at the time?
I mean, a couple ones that stand in my mind, are that kind of, the catalyst there. I mean, part of it was that there was just this lingering like sense for years, decades even, where I just kept going up and down this like 5, 10 pound range.
Mhm.
And I knew like the longer I did it, it was just kind of, there was a ticking time bomb sense of kind of like, there is going to be a time when like I am going to be either faced with a heart attack or something. And even like my cholesterol levels were high, my triglyceride levels were high for years.
Yeah.
My mom, like especially, she was like, she's like, I love you, but like you need to do something, And so there's that. There's kind of like a lingering there. And then, at some point, my cholesterol was high enough that my doctor prescribed statins, and my wife and I were talking, and I said, I don't feel right trying to like wanting to rely on that. And so there's another little thing here, um, where and she and I decided let's try to make some lifestyle changes first before we commit to like some statin drugs there. And
Yeah.
then the other thing for me, like on my weight chart, which I've been using for years, it has these little columns and it shows like a BMI thing, which I know BMI is not end all be all, but it
Yeah.
is some good data to go by. And it talks about overweight range for a 6 foot male, and it talked about obesity, and then it talked about this like second column of obesity. And then I was up to the point where I was within 10 pounds. If I had gained 10 more pounds, I was discovering that there was a thing called obesity column 3 on this app, and I was less than 10 pounds away from it. So like these are some of the big eye openers, like being prescribed the statins, the
Yeah.
fact that year after year, I would try it, I would do it. People would say like, "Hey, it looks like you're losing weight," and then like within 6 months, I was gained it all back, if not more.
Yeah.
Um, and I was over 40, just a lot of things. But especially the statins,
Yeah.
um, and then that whole obesity column 3 thing that scared the heck out of me. Of like,
Yeah.
I didn't like that that existed. I didn't like that I was less than 10 pounds away from it, and I was like,
Yeah.
something needs to change.
Yeah. Those are definitely some wake up calls, man. And I'm glad you saw them as wake up calls as well. I think a lot of individuals in that scenario, it'd be very easy to play like victim, right? Or like, oh, like you're just not in a great spot mentally. So it can be very easy to be like, it's this, and that, and putting it off on other things. And you use that as an opportunity to be like, okay, this is going to change. And then from that foot forward, you obviously started making this transformation, which is amazing. I love like now we've kind of gone over this side, obviously pre-program, we've lost a little bit of weight, but still
Mhm.
just not exactly where we want to be from a like physique standpoint. And we knew we had a lot of journey ahead of us. So now on the right here, like where are we at? This was like taken, I think, just this past few weeks or so.
Mhm.
And
where are we at here, man? Because I mean, looking at these side by sides, I mean, it's clear visually, especially your back. I mean,
Right.
the definition in our back is unbelievable. Your traps, even the side view. Break us down, like where are we at now today after going through this whole thing?
Yeah, so basically like weight wise, I'm like upper 180s right now. So and like 30 pounds before this picture on the left was like, low 280s.
Yeah,
And so on the right, so with your guys' help, I had the 30 pounds ish down already, and then you guys helped me basically lose another like close to 70-ish, like 70, so it was over 100 from my heaviest to my lowest, which I actually one under 180.
yeah,
And so that was a big long cutting phase, and that went until summertime. And then from summertime until March was a reverse diet and some surplus gradually moving up, controlled, trying to kind of gain slowly and put on some more muscle.
yeah,
Um, and then this one is basically kind of in my first like mini cut, going back down from the mid 190s to the upper 180s
yeah,
and stuff. So that's kind of where that is. And then this whole time, from the very beginning, you guys had me, you know, guiding me with training so that while the fat was coming off, I
yeah,
was building form, building some muscle slowly. And it's hard to measure visually what's
yes,
going on under like muscle building wise when you're seeing the fat drop, but
yeah,
the just getting the habits formed and like learning proper form and technique and stuff like that, and knowing that there's some muscle growing under all that fat that's being lost.
yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
that's kind of that makes sense, I hope.
Yeah, yeah, it does. And it's very visual here. Obviously, the muscle mass kind of starting to show as we're
Mhm.
getting leaner and leaner, and which is really awesome, right? Like if we just lost all that weight, we weren't training properly, we were just trying to drop as much weight as possible. That's where people end up getting to where they're just kind of the same composition but smaller on the scale, which
Mhm.
most people don't want. Most people want this type of a back. They want their back to have muscle. They want their like they want to actually have. You even sent us a couple weeks back your arms doing curls, and you had see the cat delts and
Mhm.
that is definitely what everyone wants. And then you don't have to wait to start doing that journey as well when you're trying to lose weight. You can still try to go after both of them.
Right.
But yeah, and even like mentally speaking, like I said, this Rob over here is definitely entirely different than when I first spoke to you. Do you mind talking a little bit more about that side of things and even just what it's done in like life in general, outside of just like the gym and the things there?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because in some ways, I'm a very confident person, but in other ways, it's easy, like when you've failed at something over and over again, you're kind of like afraid of kind of like it's going to fail again. And so it's like as a music teacher, I think I have a solid track record, and as a performer, as a musician, I have a reputation, and even I think in a lot of ways, as a family man, a husband and a father and stuff, like there's a lot of things. I'm active in my church, but regarding like stuff like weight loss, there's this albatross of kind of like how long is this going to last?
Yeah.
And so this is one of the mental hurdles at the beginning. Was I remember, well, the first mental hurdle at the beginning was when you and I set up a call. I wanted to find out if this was actually you.
Yeah. If I was real.
No, seriously. I was like, what is this a scam? Is this sort of like, a bait and switch kind of thing? And so like when I actually saw that it was you on the call, that was the first like really for me. It was kind of like, oh yeah, this is the guy from the videos. Okay, good. It really is him. Um, but I mean, I signed up for 12 weeks at the beginning, and I think I remember mentioning this to you that it wasn't because I didn't necessarily trust you. It was a leap of faith to try something like this.
Yeah.
But it was because I didn't know if I could trust me. And that's why I didn't sign up for more than 12 weeks at the beginning, because I didn't want to waste your time. If that was mentally, that was I had enough self-doubt in my weight and my health. But just you guys have given me just ways, sustainable ways, systematic ways, daily things that, yes, you want to look at the long-term goal, but look at what you can do today. Look at what, and just kind of invest the days, invest the days, invest the days, and the days added up to years.
Yeah.
And I've been able to kind of understand. You guys have taught me not only what to do, but you guys have been really, really transparent and kind of like, oh yeah, here's why we're doing it. understanding it has been huge, and that's been helping me to kind of get a little bit of a predictor of like a realistic goal in the future.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, I shifted over to pre-tracking pretty early on. I found that to be intimidating at first, and then it became kind of a way of life for me. And then I've mentioned in the calls before that pre-tracking mentality has been a big thing that I've been incorporating in my classroom rehearsals and my planning, where just the idea of, okay, I'm going to look ahead, even if I have to make changes, that so be it. But let me kind of have some sort of buffer where I'm aware of what's going to happen, and then that way, like the moment is not quite so stressful. And so that's been true for scheduling my workouts. That's been true for scheduling my nutrition, and it's honestly been helpful in my habits at home, my habits at work. Um, Even some of these things I've just applied in the recent months, and I've been seeing benefits there. Just kind of like, oh, I could apply it in this way as well.
Yep.
I think it's made me a better music teacher, honestly. Even that.
That's really cool, man. That's exciting. And if you don't mind, I'd love for you to touch on like, if you don't want to, it's okay. But even your kids, like they're going to the gym with you now, like they're training with you. Like, do you want to explain a little about that as well? Because I think that's like one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so they're not able to like come regularly, but like during break time, Bobby
Yep.
loves to come with me like once a week or so. My son, he's going to be in high school next year. Every once in a while, and I love how they're seeing this as a normal thing that dad does right now. And
Yep.
so that means a ton to me because for years, they've seen that I love them. They've seen that like that our family loves to be active in church together. They've seen that I love to cook for the family. There's a lot of things that they've seen from me for years and years. They know that I love music. They also know that my students love them and stuff. Um, but they saw me sitting around a lot. They saw me huge. Like and so I love that right now they know daddy's going to go to the gym a couple times. Dad's going to have a home workout. My daughter Eliza, she's in sixth grade. Sometimes if I'm doing crunches on the floor, she'll be like, "I'm going to do crunches with you," and she'll do it. Or I was doing push-ups, and she's like, "Let me see how many push-ups I can do."
That's awesome.
When we're at the gym, sometimes Bobby will be like, "Hey, can you record me and send it to Tyler?"
Yeah.
And then Tyler will give him feedback as well, which I think is awesome.
No way. That's awesome.
So I love that they see this as normal. I want them to see that
Yeah.
this is normal.
Yeah, it makes a massive difference. And just kudos to you, man. I'm really proud of you for setting an example for them as well. Like they've seen both sides to it and they've seen you like put yourself like first and it's now allowing you to pour into them more. And it's just really cool. It's really something special. So there's no doubt that I don't like they're going to be on their fitness journeys as soon as they can be as well and being consistent with it. So it'll be exciting to see that. But
Yeah.
I know feel like we've chatted a good bit about kind of where things are now. But also it's not every day that you see someone that goes through like 100-pound loss as far as weight loss. And I really would love for you if you're able to. I know it's on the fly, so I get it. You can't come up with everything possible. Like, what are some habits that you found to be pretty true amongst that entire journey of losing 100 pounds that have like you feel like been your kind of solid rocks that have guided you throughout that time to lose
Mhm.
that amount of weight?
Some of them, well, first of all, just the strength training itself, the lifting workouts, just from
Yeah.
early on. And the cool thing is, I've learned this from you guys, but I also even learned it from the staff at because I have a Planet Fitness membership, and I know there's some limitations there where they have not same access as some of the full gyms and stuff. But it
Yeah.
really works out well for me and a lot of people that are in that neighborhood. But just, I'm grateful that I got kind of like a double dose of that, where when I asked them at the beginning, they were like, "Hey, like, what do you recommend?" Like, I don't know, I have no idea what I'm doing. Same thing
Yeah.
I told you guys.
Yeah.
And the first advice that they gave me was go to that room full of machines and just start getting used to using those machines to exercise full body. Just kind of go for a full body workout. And then when I started working with you guys, Tyler had me using dumbbells and bench
Yeah.
and machines and stuff like that. Some of the same machines, some new ones and stuff. But just the idea of kind of like, oh, I thought I was signing up for weight loss, and they're like, here, start lifting these weights. And at first, mentally, it's kind of like, okay, you think that it would be go straight to the treadmill all the time, and the treadmill is huge. That's a huge help.
Yeah.
But lifting the weights, moving even the metabolism of muscles that are engaged is higher. But even just the fact that what I'm learning is that the weightlifting is a huge part of what has caused me to be successful in that weight loss. And
Yeah.
it's helped that like now that I'm kind of down in the normal range for weight loss, I'm not left with kind of a now what. It's kind of like, oh, okay, well, keep lifting the weights because but just as the goal changed. Like I used to be lifting the weights to lose weight, and now I'm lifting the weights because I want to be in good shape as I age, and I want to kind of have momentum of strength and movement. And then speaking of treadmills, steps has been huge.
Yeah.
Uh, just the major implication of if you are taking, right now I have a goal of 8,000. I know a lot of you guys do 10,000 step goal and stuff like that. 8,000 is working for me right now.
Yep.
Um, but just whether you're doing cardio for bike or whether you're doing a treadmill or taking walks or whatever, there's been times where I was at a plateau with the weight loss and Tyler moved my step goal up, and that's what kicked it into gear.
Yeah.
And it's huge. I have my phone has a weight, it's a Google Fit on my Android
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there are days where I look at my phone at 8 at night and I've taken 10,000. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay. I'm already past my goal. There's days though where it's 9 at night and I've taken 4,500 steps. And I'm like, apparently I'm doing my treadmill before bedtime then because I'm going to get those 8,000 steps in. But it's crazy because the day didn't feel like I was sitting around all the time, but the step counter didn't lie.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so just kind of, it gets a reality check of like, yeah, you didn't move very much today. So let's
Yeah.
move something.
Yeah.
That's been huge, of just the benefit, the health benefit of just move.
Yeah. I love that. So sounds like weightlifting was a big one, which you didn't really think at the time, but massive. And then getting steps in
Yep.
was another one of the main habits. Any other habits that you feel like really were a big needle mover for you?
I think that one of the big things regarding like I mentioned the weightlifting, but I was only going to the gym twice for those first 6 months or so. I was going to the
Yeah.
gym twice a week because I wanted to move more, but I also didn't want to be away from my family a ton. I didn't want to be like because I already have a busy schedule with being a high school band director.
Yep.
And I didn't feel right asking my wife, hey, can you babysit the kids without me 4 nights a week? So when I
Yeah.
started signing up with you guys and you guys were saying like, we recommend four. And I said, okay, but I want two of them to be at home.
Yeah.
And so I think that's been a big thing too, is that you guys have helped me see. And I actually, when I post my form videos, I send them to Tyler and I also post them on my Threads account. There's a community of us
Yeah.
that share, which is super cool. And I have had so many people comment and say, what a cool home variation of that kickstand hinge. What a cool variation on those step ups. I love people are saying like, that I need to remember that one because you're showing me. I've had some guys say, thank you for showing me that you can get some of this stuff done in the home. That has been a huge, huge thing, is that even if a guy like me can't really afford to go to the gym even more than twice a week, that doesn't mean I can't work out and lift 4 days a week. I still do my 4 days a week with you guys,
Yeah.
but two of them are at home. So an upper and a lower at home and an upper and a lower at the gym. So I love that mentality as well, is that it doesn't have to all be in the gym. It also doesn't have to all be at home. I love that I get to do a little bit of both.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and like you said, it's adapting it around your life versus the latter. Everyone tries to force fitness into their life and just like jam it in there. This is what everyone says they're like you should be doing. It's like there's not a one size fits all. It'd be nice if there was, but like it really isn't. And I think the fact that you've been able to balance both is amazing. It really is because you didn't let that be the bottle. You could have very easily been like, oh, I can only go twice. Like most of the time, you need to train like 3 or 4 days a week to see results. Why even do it? And
Right.
then instead of that, you're just like, no. Well, what if can I just tweak some things and do it at home? So that's an amazing thing to kind of add in there as well. That's great, and it also proves that you don't need to be in the gym every single day to lose 100 pounds, like
Right.
at all. Yeah. So
Yeah.
awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. And just obviously like kind of going back over some things here. I also have a picture up here of I wanted to share because I don't know if it's been a while since you posted it, but this photo of your after our retreat, the side by sides of the plaque and then also the 100 pounds lost. I just wanted to share on the screen because
Yeah.
I think it's just
Oh yeah. Yeah.
super cool to look back on here. And we did make it 100 pounds because we were like, we got to give this man a whole 100 on there. It just
I
looks
appreciated that a ton.
yeah.
Honestly, that meant a lot to me that you included kind of the whole journey.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's not every day that someone goes through that. It's by no means like an easy journey. It's not a straight path to get there. It's a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and you've been able to navigate them and stay strong during all those times and just not lose sight of like what you're doing it for, which is to be a better man overall for your family, for everyone around you. And it was really cool to see you kind of push through that. Now being on the other end, now we're building muscle, we're doing so many other cool things as well. So it's
Yeah,
definitely not the end of that. But I just wanted to share that as well because
thanks.
I like had this saved on my phone. I saved it when you posted. I like took a
Oh, nice.
screenshot and I have it in my favorites because it's really cool. It's really cool to see that.
That shelf is at my bedstand, and those are still there.
I love it, man. I love it. As far as just like given you are someone that's gone through a big journey like that, and you've seen on the being on the other end of where it's like trying to get that help, but also you were obviously unsure at the time. You're like, oh, well, you sounded like you did some things. You asked some people at the gym, like, what should you use first? They're like, okay, do this. And then obviously you took a big leap of faith, trusting me, which you didn't even know if I was a real human until we hopped on a call. Like what advice would you give to someone that's maybe in a similar spot to you at the beginning of that journey when things aren't feeling as if they're going directionally the best way, or if they are a little unsure on like, is there actually people out there that can help them and even community out there that can then help them thrive as well? What would you say to that person?
Yeah, I mean, I would tell them that it's absolutely worth giving a try. And I mean, I recommend you guys as Team No Excuses, absolutely. And I've told many people about you guys, but just one of the things that I noticed even about your videos was just kind of that, you talked in a way that was like it was encouraging, but it was also like real,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But it also, I saw a guy who obviously, like, you look at you, and you can tell that you've put in the work, and that you like, it'd be one thing to be saying something and not have kind of like
Yeah.
an error, and even like a body to prove it kind of thing. But like there's kind of like, and then you talked about it, you show some of the workout examples, you would talk about some of the techniques. But just I recommend, yes, it's worth it. I was so skeptical when I back in like during COVID and stuff, and I heard about kind of like online training becoming more and more prevalent and stuff, and I was such a cynic about just kind of like, oh, that's literally no. I mean, I think I've told you this before.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to be wrong about that, because I was so cynical about that. Literally, I was laughing out loud listening to a radio article about online training, and I was like, what is that? That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And here we are, 2.5 years later. What a cool thing. There's obviously there's benefits to having a trainer where you're in the gym with
Yeah.
that trainer. When you're in the gym with that trainer. But what I love is that you guys are on call. Tyler's so on call. I send him like 8 form videos a week, two per workout, every week, and and just like clockwork on Sunday afternoon, he's back at me with check-in reviews, and I'm like, okay, this looks good. All right, now tweak this one. Like, let's try to put left foot forward. And then if I need more feedback and stuff, like, it's not even just once a week. Like, I'm like, hey, how about this? Is this better? And he's like, okay. Or the other day I said, Tyler, I don't really understand the suggestion. And within hours, he had sent me a video of him doing the exercise, being like, this is what I'm talking about. This is huge. This is huge that this kind of stuff is happening like at nighttime when he's in his home and stuff like that. MyFitnessPal, the nutrition training, just being on call, the team calls. There's such a really cool package that I've experienced that shows all the value there. So yeah, just absolutely, it's worth it. If they wanted to do like I did, try it for 12 weeks, see if it's something possible. I don't think it was a wrong decision for me to do that. I think it made sense for me to kind of test it and stuff. And I'd recommend that people give that a try. But just, I also recommend to them that they don't need to feel like they need to be worthy. They
Mhm.
don't need to feel like kind of like, oh, I need to know what I'm doing, or I need to go in and like jump in and try to do heavy stuff.
Mhm.
Especially guys like me in our 40s, we're very, I don't know, I think I speak for a lot of us. We're nervous about our low backs. I'm not about to, in my mid 40s, do
Totally.
something stupid and injure my back. So I probably was a little overly cautious for sometimes, especially in the lower body exercises. But I loved that from the very beginning. I asked, at first it was confusing. I was like, well, how much weight should I do?
Yeah.
And you guys were like, try it and make the rep range work,
Yep.
and let's go by what you go. But it totally makes sense. We're all in different lives and different bodies.
Yeah.
And so be okay with that. If you're trying to go back to the glory days of when you were in good shape, cool. You'll probably be able to start with heavier weights. But I was coming after decades of not lifting any kind of weights.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you this. The last time I had bench pressed before I started going to Planet Fitness was in 8th grade.
Wow. Wow.
And so guess what? I didn't have a lot of muscle. I mean, I wasn't weak, but like
Yeah, yeah.
muscular, I wasn't. So
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I was rambling, but I hope that those things make sense.
No, it does. And I appreciate you saying that. And I think more people need to realize that there's nothing other than you just being alive that gives you the worthiness to be able to do this at all. Like you just existing is more than enough. Like in itself to be able to, you don't need to like give yourself permission. You don't need to wait for someone else to give you permission to just start doing little things. Like you said, it could be as incrementally as just like start with something, start with walking, start with whatever it may be. Even if it's not getting into a program, maybe it's just, like I said, starting with some general movement and then working from there. So it means a lot that you said that because I think a lot of guys feel like they need to be worthy for it, or feel like they, I don't know, like deep down they just have some like self-worth things. And I think we always just as guys throw it on the back, like just all right, it's whatever. Like just we'll just keep going. We just kind of put everything in the deep down and we never actually talk about it. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing for everything, man. It's been really cool to see you grow and just see so many changes and to go from now, like obviously we lost all this weight and now we're doing so many other like just we're building muscle, we're working on a lot of other goals too. And it's really exciting to see you keep pushing further and further and further. And just, yeah, it's amazing, man. So thank you so much for sharing your journey. Hopefully it's able
Yeah,
to
thank you.
inspire someone else to go on a journey like that and just like continue to better themselves and get around like-minded people.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I would I love the idea of if I can help convince anyone that they should give it a try. And then the work is what they should be proud of. Everybody's body and everybody's journey and state is different. Um,
Yeah.
and what we all celebrate, especially on the team calls, right? We're all in different states,
Yeah.
but we celebrate the fact that we're putting in the work, and we celebrate the fact that we're encouraging each other, and we recognize that the work is admirable, and that we motivate each other. And yeah, I mean, if I can ever motivate anyone to put in some work, I'd
Okay.
love it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the chat, and appreciate everything, Greg. Great.
Of course.